your wardrobe a spring makeover. Lisa's here with her pick of the best spring knits.
Before that, last night, Meghan Markle revealed her mental health struggles in her tell-all interview with Oprah.
And her brave revelation has inspired some of you to speak out and seek help. Well, clinical psychologist Dr. Anna Colton is here to take your calls. Hi, Anna. Let's get straight to the first call. We've got Penny on the line. Hi, Penny.
Hi.
Hello, Penny. So you are one of the people that's been inspired by what the Duchess had to say. What's been going on?
So, obviously, with her coming, the little snippets of the Oprah interview being on air has prompted me to make that decision, call my doctor. And yesterday I had a phone consultation and, yeah, I cried my eyes out and he just really helped me and prescribed me some antidepressants. Today I start them.
And you've got talking therapy as well.
And I'm going to also be doing the cognitive, I can't explain the word, the talking therapy.
CBT, yeah.
So it's like a combination of the two things. And
yeah.
Why had you not sought help before? Because that's what people often say, and I think Anna will sort of elaborate on this a bit more, but it's taking that first step, isn't it, that's the hardest?
Yeah, I mean, I've always just put it to the back of my mind. Silly, I know, but I've always just thought, I can do it, I can be strong. And then after having children, the feelings just worsen, and yeah, that sounds awful, doesn't it? That's nothing to do with my children. I love my children,
no,
but it's just, it's just hard to speak out. And I finally just thought, I'm going to do it, and I just did it. Just took a step.
Good for you. And Anna, taking that first step is so important.
It is so important. I think for a lot of people, they worry that, their problems aren't severe enough, or that if they start to talk, they'll get upset, they'll never stop crying, it'll be too overwhelming, that there isn't help available. And so sometimes it just feels easier to power on through. But the thing about powering on through is, of course, we sit on those feelings and they grow and grow and grow, and then they feel really large. And so we withdraw a little bit and we cut off our social support, and it's a vicious spiral. So taking that first step, is the most important and most difficult step. And it sounds, Penny, like your doctor was fantastic yesterday and is really on your side and is going to help you get through.
Which is always so important to have someone who, when you do pluck up the courage, and it does take a lot of courage to speak, and you then get a very receptive ear, which is great. Explain CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy, Anna.
Yeah, so CBT, cognitions are thoughts. It's just a fancy word for thoughts. And CBT links the thoughts that we have with the behaviours that we then engage in, and the physiology, so what we feel in our body and what we do to cope with all that. And it links up our thoughts, our feelings and our behaviours, and helps us to see patterns. And then once we've seen the patterns, we know where to break in and stop the cycle carrying on and how to intervene.
Okay.
Well,
that's CBT in a nutshell.
We're very proud of you, Penny. Lots of love. Big step forward now. Don't look back. Away you go.
Well done, you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Right, you're welcome.
Hi, Sally.
Hello.
Hi, you
Hi,
are
morning,
struggling,
Sally.
aren't you?
I am.
So tell us
Sorry,
what...
I'm emotional already.
Oh,
No, don't worry about that.
Do you want to save
tell us
space?
why.
Yeah.
I lost my dad back in 2019, and then I think it was a couple of weeks afterwards. It was a couple of weeks afterwards. I found out that I was pregnant with my son. So that was quite traumatic. A traumatic birth. He wasn't born breathing, so it's just loads of different things going on, and it's difficult.
How has that made you feel? How do you feel?
Honestly, I feel so alone. I've got all the friends, I've got my beautiful children, and I feel so alone and scared as well.
Yeah. Anna?
Yeah, it's so lonely, isn't it? When your mood is low and you feel like there are people around to support you, and it's really easy to retreat into yourself. Have you reached out to pandas or any organisations like that could support you, charities that you could speak to on the phone whenever you need, that are specialists in things like, pandas is, difficult births, postnatal depression, all sorts of issues around that. Have you spoken to them at all?
I've spoken
or someone
to,
like that?
No, not really. I've spoken to some people through my work, but not any sort of agencies. It's difficult to know what to kind of deal with, because I've got the grief and then I've got the postnatal depression. So it's
you also work for the emergency services, don't you? So this is another layer of a stressful job on top.
Yeah. and it's difficult. I love my job, but dealing with traumatic incidents when you're going through trauma yourself is very difficult.
So each of these things on their own would be enough, but when they're all stacked up, it is just too much sometimes to deal with. There are lots of different organisations that really help with each one of your difficulties or your struggles at the moment. You know, there's Mind have got a blue light programme running at the moment. I don't know if you know about that, but Mind's blue light programme is specifically for emergency service workers during COVID, because we know that you have had such significant COVID's had such a significant impact on emergency services and emergency support staff that there's really extra help that's needed. So Mind have got that programme, which is brilliant. Then there's Pandas, if you want it for postnatal depression and birth issues, or, you know, they've got really specialist support there. And there's also the Good Grief Trust, which is really amazing for bereavement. And so it might be about just, you know, trying each and seeing where you can find some support, because you're not alone. You're really not alone. There are people out there.
Can I ask you, if somebody comes to you and they sit down and they go, right, these are all my problems here that I've got going on, this is what is being stacked up, how do you deal with it? Do you go individually through each one? Like, how do you unlock those? Like, how do you stop them having that control over you in everyday life where you feel like you're drowning, which is how Sally describes it?
Yeah, it's overwhelming. And that's a really brilliant question. So, of course, at the very beginning, it is about hearing someone's story and taking real time to hear the story. And there are usually threads that link people's stories. And that does take time to unpick. So, for example, you know, when there's been grief and bereavement and trauma, you know, bereavement is traumatic. And then the underpinning thread may well be trauma, and we may start there. But themes come out. And as you start to unlock themes, and you start also to help people to reach out a little bit more so that they're less isolated, to put structures back in their life so that there's something that they enjoy. So I do it from a variety of angles. Finding threads, finding themes, putting things in life that relieve stress, that's a good outlet, and trying to build up support networks. And that it's a process though, so it takes a while, obviously.
Does that help a little bit, Sally?
Yeah.
I mean, you've taken, if you think about what you've already done, you've taken a huge step forward by talking to us. So that's step one. And do you think you can maybe begin to work through that list, that very understandable list of things that are, you know, messing with your head at the moment?
I hope so. I think it will take time, but I hope so.
You can do this.
Yeah. Well, why don't you stay on the phone and let our team be the first port of call to scoop you up and point you in the right direction.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, take care.
All right then, take care.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anna.
Anna, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, lots more still to come right after